Okay, everyone, we're here with our next stranger. Could you tell us your name and a little about yourself?
Uh,
You don't have to
so,
say your actual name. You can say a code name.
uh, yeah, you can call me Doris. I'm 20, turning 21 soon. I'm currently in college, just like looking to explore different career options. And
Cool.
yeah,
What
that's
are
all I
what are
got.
some career things that you're interested in?
There's too many. There's too many right now.
Well,
I'm just like
tell me,
knocking off
tell
the
us.
list. Yeah. So I guess currently, right now, the main interests right now are video editing. Um, just looking for like more on like the YouTube blogger side. If I could do something like that. I'm looking into music, um, and I'm also looking into clothing and. Um,
Oh,
that's it.
interesting.
That's pretty much it for like really short term right now. That's all I'm really thinking about. Other than that, but I've gone through like a lot of different like um different like options. You know,
Yeah. What is
uh,
it about?
no,
Is it like clothing design you're interested in?
yeah, design. Because I used to do like graphic design a little bit.
Very cool.
And then but like I didn't really want to like work with like companies, logos and stuff. I kind of want to make my own like thing, and then maybe branch that off. And then also like I've been getting into a lot of like string things. So like knitting, yarning, not knitting,
Yarning.
crochet, and possibly like I kind of want to get a sewing machine and embroidery machine, things like that. Like I think
Cool.
I just kind of want to learn a lot of things. And it's like if this doesn't become a career, it's like I have this stuff for my grandkids or like kids and um,
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of thing. Um, yeah, I've been through a lot. Like I guess my first like absolute thing because I was so set throughout high school and middle school and stuff to be an engineer, but like I went into it and I hated it. So it's like all right, might as well take this time, find new things and
What
um,
was it about the engineering that you didn't like?
like a part of it was the people, just because it's like it's a very cold world and there's a lot of like just socially awkward people all the time. So it's just like
Mm.
it just feels lonely, and there's not really like room to have fun. I mean, in a sense, like the thing in engineering itself, like and the things that they do, I think is like fun, but it's like I really also need the people uh, to be a part of that fun.
Mm.
Um,
You need like a sense of community with what you're doing, right?
yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
interesting. Yeah, like the arts and kind of like social sciences are tend to be kind of like where those people that like to let loose kind of live. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Interesting. Like how about your parents? Like, are they? Did you ever feel like pressure to do something from them, or are they very supportive of your endeavors in whatever you do?
Mm, mm, my mom used to be like she when she found out like I wasn't gonna do engineering anymore, she was like very disappointed, right? And but it's come to a point where she kind of understands, and it's just like she wants she just wants like as long as it makes money, that kind of thing. It's like and I agree. I kind of align in that way because it's like I there's a lot of things that I would want to do, and it's like it would be kind of fun, but it's like I also want to live very comfortably or at a very good like level.
Yeah, you want to be
Yeah,
able to like save money and travel maybe, or not
yeah,
have to
like
worry about where your next meal is going to be coming from.
yeah, and like possibly because I live in California, so like go buy a house here, which would be very hard, but who knows?
Do you like California?
Yeah, I want to stay here for quite a while. Quite a while. It's really nice, especially the weather. I mean, it's balls hot. But it's balls hot everywhere. So it's
Yeah,
like
I have a friend who lives in Sacramento, and he was like, it's 108 here, like a week ago.
yeah,
It's
it's like
crazy.
107 here. Yeah, it's terrible. It's going down. So that's okay.
You
It's
know,
okay for now.
have you always lived in California?
I used to live in Texas until I turned 11. Um, yeah, and then we moved here for like, because my mom just got a job opportunity, and it's like sunny California. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the difference between like Texas and California?
So I used to live in Houston. Houston's built on a swamp, so it's super humid, just weather wise, and hurricanes every like couple
Days.
yeah
Every other day.
yeah. But other than that, like I lived in a developing part of Houston, so there's still like a couple of farms here and there, and then like if the nearest anything was a couple of miles away. Um, so I didn't really know much, just because I like to think I grew up in California, just because I have no idea what Texas was like, other than like the uh, the roadhouses, the meat. Meat is insane over there. Yeah,
It's like in at 11 years old, it's like how well do you really know the place that you're living?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you're so dependent on your parents for going places, and you're in school all the time. And for you, like education wise, like, do you think that the way that education is set up in this country is good? Do you think it's optimal in terms of where we could be as a people
No, I don't. I definitely don't. Let me think about this, because I have thought about it a little bit, but I always just feel like, how do I say this? Um, the it's I feel like from my experience, I just always felt like I was taught things, but there there's not much to. You don't really learn things, and like specifically, you don't really learn how to learn. If that makes sense. Uh, I've never had. I've from like, okay, so for me personally, like I'm a very curious person. I wonder about so many things. That's why everything's so hard, right? Like thinking about my career, it's like it's so hard, right? Um, and um, that's come from, honestly, that's mainly come from YouTube. Uh, just like there's just so many random like topics. They're just like absolutely useless. Like, what am I gonna learn about like particle physics? Like, it's like that kind of thing. But it's like I saw those things and I was like, that's interesting, and just being able to, like, looking up these things, and just like I see a random talk, it's like, oh, that's cool, right?
yeah.
And it's like I always felt like school never sparked that interest. Like there are times where they're talking about something, I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool, and I ask questions a lot. I'm one of those kids. It's always asking questions, and I was like, but nobody else was ever like that. And it's like it seems like it's kind of hard um, for people to grow as much as they could if they don't have that sense of like wonder and like that awareness that like there's more to be learned.
So you think so? I'm just like trying to read between the lines here. Is that you think that for education to get better, it needs to inspire wonder in people
Yeah,
for them to be more
yeah,
curious, right?
yeah. Because I mean, like that's just how, like, I guess some of the greatest minds just work. Like they thought about things, like thought about new things, like different things. And I think that's what's, like, truly important. I mean, I don't think it's like for everyone. Obviously, not everyone um, can be that. I guess, like, be like the next like Elon Musk, or like whoever, next innovator, whoever it is.
Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci
Because,
or
like,
yeah.
it is, yeah. I think people like that. No, not everyone can be that way, but it's like, to increase the chances of that happening. I always felt like
I agree
that's,
with you. I completely agree with you. I think the standardized testing is one of the things that can't kind of keeps the lid on creativity, and
yeah,
um yeah, and also like to kind of piggyback off of your idea, like I think I think that humans are inherently curious. It's just the environment and circumstances around them determine how curious they can allow themselves to be, you know? And so if the culture is saying you're not going to get any benefit out of being curious uh or being creative because it's not going to help to get better grades on standardized tests, then you shouldn't be at all. And so kids are like, okay, why the fuck should I even care? You know? And that's
yeah,
sad. It's sad.
yeah,
Um, but I think it is a testament to you, that even through the whole process that you're still so curious, right? That that those circumstances don't completely determine how curious a person is, right? Like there is a fire in you. And I think, like just from talking to you and also seeing like how you did the two truths and a lie, I think you're very much an artist, and what that means is just like artists know how to have a sense that they can combine all of their interest into one thing that hasn't been done yet. So like in terms of your career, like who knows? You could be the first person to do something ever because we're at this time in history with all your interests and stuff like who knows? Who you could create a new business, and because of that hire like 20 or 30 people to do something that you're coming up with. That's exciting to me. But that's just me rambling, dude.
yeah. I've never really thought about that. That's super, like, new to me. Hearing like, whoa, like I could make my own, because, looking into all these things, but it's like, wait, what if you just make your own? That's that's super interesting.
it's
Um,
it's crazy. It's like
yeah,
it's scary because it means
yeah,
like you're on the forefront of it, and there's I think a lot of it too is like not being afraid to fail, you know, not being afraid to mess up and to judge yourself, you know.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and I guess like one other question I have for you before we get going, is like I really haven't talked to many Asian Americans. And for you, like, what has your experience been like as an Asian American and in this country? And do you experience the same kind of racism that a lot of other uh, like intersections do, like black people or brown people?
Uh, so I kind of, I don't want to say it's like super unique, but I feel like my experience being Asian was kind of unique, right? So I feel like my household right now is very, it is probably like a very good definition of like Asian American, where it's like it's not like an Asian household where like all the parents are like super strict and like all this stuff, but and it's not like too American because we do have like those Asian traditions, and my mom just very like has that mindset, right? Um, and that's not really per se the unique part, right? I think what I actually never grew up around Asians, so it was like everything. Um, all my Asianness came from like my parents and YouTube, right? Because I always like looked up Asian YouTubers and stuff like that. But I grew up around like Black and Mexican people all the time. In Texas, it was predominantly like, both of those, right? And like since I was the only Asian kid ever in like my classes, it was like eventually like in fourth grade I was like labeled the Chinese guy, and I'm Filipino, so it's like hey Chinese guy, and then eventually like I kind of accepted it, and then we all became like closer friends. Like they found out my personality, and it's like they stopped calling me that, and here and there we like they just call me like Chino or whatever, but it's like it was kind of that. But then California, I feel like I was super lucky with all my years, just because like the schools I've been to, they were all very bad schools. Like they have a history of having like very like rowdy kids and like fights all the time. But the years I was there, like none of that ever happened. Um, and my schools were also just very cliquey, so it was like no one no one really talked to any no one ever like cared about anybody else. It's like if anybody bullied, it's just like why like go pay attention to your own friends, you know.
Yeah. You get a
But
life,
that
right?
yeah, like it was never really bullying. It was just like people just didn't like each other sometimes, like for good reasons. Like I think the only time I ever saw like a fight was just when
Hold on one second, Doris. Yeah, come on in. I'm like 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Do you want to go get lunch? Do you want to go get lunch? Should I eat lunch first?
Let's get lunch.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, that's my roommate and I are gonna get groceries, but continue.
what was I saying? Oh yeah, it was because like money things. Like this guy, he like he bought some weed. He got some weed, and like he didn't pay this guy back, and they like fought over it. That was literally it. And it's like it's not just like I don't like this guy's face or like this guy's small. I mean, that never happened, which I'm like super blessed to like have that kind of experience. I mean, it happened after I left. It's slowly started like coming back from what I've heard. But oh yeah, like I that's like kind so going back to like I guess your question about like racism, like literally the only experience I have is like back in elementary school, and then also like there's a couple of like couple people just like on the streets. It's like they'll like call me Chink. They called me Chink once, but that was like once in LA, and it was like it was okay. I don't want to say, but it was like by a black guy, right? So it was just like I always understood like all races have their potential to like be racist, you know, or just like have these like those like racist tendencies. Whether or not he like actually hated Asians is like another thing, but you know, but I 100% don't think Asians have it bad. In comparison, like I don't know. This is not something I really like thought about before, so my thoughts aren't super fleshed out. But um, like, but I definitely don't agree with that thought of like the privileged minority. You know,
Mm.
like, okay, this is super controversial, and I don't want to like
No,
talk about it, but
this is
it's just
yeah. This is it's great though. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I always felt like a big part of why um, Asians aren't super like they. I guess why people would think we have that Asian privilege is like because it's not because we're like smart or like whatever the stereotype is. I feel like Asian culture, we respect uh, authority, I guess. Like we do what we're told, no matter what, and that makes us like that submissive, and uh, and so it's just like naturally you're gonna be inclined to like not treat the people you that follow you or like at least like listen to you, you know, poorly. And even if you do, it's like I don't know. It's kind of it's like God, I don't want to say this, but it's like treating your dog. Like, come on, like the dog just always like nice, happy. It's really cute and stuff like that. And like you would never treat it bad. And there's like those bad eggs that do that. Um,
Mm.
but those are like the super like those are like a pretty small minority cut of people. And yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. So I just want to clarify your thoughts and so what you're saying is like you feel like at like that the kind of Asian American or Asian minority population kind of lives in a culture that is very much adheres to kind of authority and doesn't really buck the system, and that's kind of like your comparison to a dog is that the Asian American kind of culture is similar to like man's best friend, kind of like dog, and then the people in power are the human, right? Is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that something that just is just like an East Asian or Southeast Asian kind of cultural tradition? You think that kind of submissiveness?
Actually, not completely sure. Mm, it's just like just okay. So um, like now in my time now, like in college, like I'm surrounded by a lot of Asians, and like hearing their stories and like talking to them, it's like they've never. It's kind of like okay, so I don't know if you heard, but like you know, like black people, they have to have like this talk um, about like how to interact with the police, right? And you know, they also have this uh, like those who do like get the talk, I believe they're taught to be like very respectful, just like don't move, don't make sudden moves, all that kind of thing. So it's I don't want to necessarily say it was purely just an Asian thing, and you know, and then people just get unlucky, like is like uh, even if they do all those things, it's like they can still get treated really poorly, and I like 100% understand that. Uh, that was just to like go back to what I was saying, and in regards to like the Asian like I guess the submissiveness. It's I have no. I think it just comes from like you know we have a very like strong emphasis on our elders, right? Like, and that kind of just trickles down to like authority in a sense, you know. And from like I guess my like the rebel Asian friends that I have, they're like they don't really care about like their family. Like in a sense, like that's kind of me. Like it's not that I don't like care, but I wasn't taught that like that that level of respect, but I just happen to have it kind of thing. But it's like my siblings don't have that respect as well. They're very like fuck you mom, like they had to learn it as from maturity rather than like from like
From the
our parents, you know. But
same.
I always like kind of had that like family connection here and there. Like I'm not super like like it's not ingrained into me to like really respect my elders, but it it's I don't really know how to explain it, but like
Yeah.
you know, like I respect my mom. I would never say that kind of thing, even
Yeah.
though like they would. It's like so there is that level of like respect for my family to and I don't know. I'm kind of just rambling. I don't have my
No,
thoughts.
no, no.
But yeah,
I
yeah.
think I think it's all really interesting because it's like maybe part of it was, I mean, since your mom values those traditions like you said before, there is some part of your upbringing that, are you the oldest?
I'm the youngest.
Oh,
I'm
interesting.
the golden child.
The-
I think a part of it is because of that. Because I was like,
Mm.
I always just had this like from the start. I was always the one that like listened. Whenever my mom told us to do something, I just like I was the first one to like get on it. Like
Maybe because
as the
no one
good
else
child.
was doing it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. And like that's gotten me like the golden child label, and she hasn't necessarily said that, and I just like to think that because I know. But that could just come from like the respect, kind of, and like where I learned that. I guess I don't know
Yeah.
because I got it to me, and so like my parents respected me, so then I was able to like pick up on
Yeah,
you respected.
reciprocate.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Doris, this has been an awesome conversation. And yeah, I really appreciate your candor and yeah, it's just really cool, you know. So I'm gonna have to get going. But
Yeah.
before I do, I'm starting up like a $20 like that I'm gonna be giving away $20 to one of the strangers that I talked to. So to qualify to win that $20, just shoot me an email at buildingbridges505@gmail.com, and I may end up sending you $20 or something. So
Okay.
and make sure to subscribe. And this video will be up in like probably like 10 minutes or something. So,
Okay.
and yeah, man, thanks again for being honest, and yeah, it's just really nice to talk to you. And good luck with everything, with
Yeah.
combining all your artistic interests.
Thank you.
All
All
right.
right.
See you
You
later.
have a nice day.
All right, man.
Bye bye.
Cool dude. Cool man.